I talked to my ex's mom about our breakup, and I'm not sure where to go from here. I really just need to vent about this and would like general advice about if I should do anything or if it's alright for me to just wait until I'm less emotional. I broke up with my ex about 6 months ago. It was a long and emotional drawn-out argument that eventually led to the end of a 3.5-year relationship. I'll refer to her as Grace. Before the breakup, everything apart from a few grievances were fine. But about 4 months before we broke up, Grace found a new group of friends to hang out with and would often play video games with if she wasn't physically spending time with them. I was happy for her. It had been hard for her to make friends in the past, so I was ecstatic that she could find people who shared her mutual interests. She's autistic, so whenever she gets into something she really gets into it. I personally wasn't interested in her current interest, but I wouldn't stop her from talking to me about it or showing me the things she created or the games she played surrounding the subject. I just wouldn't engage in it myself. She asked me to a few times, but typically I would not have the time or would rather spend the time I did have enjoying myself or engaging with her personally. These friends would mostly talk about this subject in their calls or when they played video games. I enjoyed their company somewhat, but I wouldn't find much to talk about with them because of this, so I didn't talk to them other than the occasional laugh. Usually communications would be on Discord or IRL. It got to the point where Grace would constantly be in a call with these friends, and the only opportunity one would get to talk to her is if I joined the call with them, which again, I usually wasn't interested in their talks, and at the time I was in school for a really important career goal in engineering, so I didn't have much time to, and she would frequently ignore my messages and would talk to them to the late hours of the night, so we stopped saying good night to each other. I brought this issue up with her several times, which she would apologize for, and then promise to get better. She never did up until the end, where I decided to break up with her after she ignored me on my birthday for them right to my face. I didn't want to keep putting my energy in someone who obviously did not care about me and would ignore me for days. One of the friends later approached me, apologizing for the way he acted and stated he was no longer friends with Grace. He told me that Grace shared several of our private conversations, said I was manipulative, and overall has created a toxic environment around herself. He said she admitted to having feelings for him and another person while we were dating as well. I take what he said with a grain of salt because he did not provide evidence for all of these claims, but most of it was believable. Grace has messaged me a few times in the months we have been apart, though I have not responded to any of them. A week ago, I met with Grace's mother because she finally wanted to talk to me after the breakup. I had been too emotional these past few months because of the abruptness of the breakup and it affected me greatly. Grace's mother explained to me that through therapy she has learned the way she acted was completely unacceptable and she regrets the way she treated me and destroyed our relationship. In some ways I think Grace's mom wishes I was back in her life, but I don't know if I can bring myself to talk to her. She made me feel like I was nothing and preferred these obviously temporary people over someone who gave her years of my time. I've been so angry over it. But part of me still has a soft spot for her, wanting to at least be able to accept that she feels like she did wrong. Grace's mom told me I don't have to talk to her, but I'm sure she wishes I would. I love and respect her mother so much. She respects my wishes in not walking to talk to Grace, and was angry and upset with Grace over how dumb the whole situation was during. I'm not sure if I should say anything to Grace. Should I message her at all? Or just keep doing what I've been doing? I don't know if I want to be friends with someone who made me feel the way I felt, but I'm not sure if I should say anything at all. I've never explained to her the frustration I felt and have been feeling. I just stopped talking to her outright when it was over. Next story 2. I want to move out of my fiancé's house and back into my parents' without breaking up. Any ideas on how to make this work? Me and my fiancé have been together for about 3 years now. We moved in together 4 to 5 months into our relationship. I moved in with him into his parents' place after I had a bit of a mental health crisis that resulted in a falling out with my parents and being forced to leave. Going into this, I was very transparent that I knew it was much too early for us to take a leap like this. It was never intended to be a permanent solution, but things happen and we realized how serious we were about this relationship. Learning to live with each other and learning to live with his family was very challenging, but we made it work. We love and adore each other, and I believe we have come out stronger because of it. While living with my fiancé, I have missed my parents terribly. I was so young when I moved out that I feel I was certainly not ready for that leap, and after repairing the issues with my parents and coming to an understanding with them, I realized how much I wanted to go home most days, and how much my parents wanted me to come home too. I thought a remedy to this situation may have been me and my fiancé getting our own place together away from either of our families. After talking to him, he made it clear he wasn't ready to move away from his family either until he was done schooling. They are helping fund his education, especially with the housing crisis currently making it impossible to find anywhere to rent. I 100% respect that, and we made it work. Unfortunately, the situation has changed for a number of reasons. I recently have decided to go back to school after working full-time for the last 4 years. This is a big and exciting change that my fiancé is supporting me on. The issue comes that we live at least a 30 to 40 minute drive away from my school, and while I can drive, I am not the most confident, and thus commuting will be difficult to make work with both our schedules not aligning, though not impossible. I have also come to the realization that our room is simply not big enough for 2 people, making it incredibly cluttered, messy, and overwhelming no matter what I do. I think it may be damaging to both of our mental health and is making me yearn for my own space and room. The final and biggest reason is finding out that recently my dad was diagnosed with end-stage kidney failure. He has just started the road of dialysis and hopefully a transplant in the future, but at the moment it is incredibly rough and scary for him. He is also mostly blind and cannot walk anymore. It has come down to either my mother missing work to take care of him and losing their house in the process as they cannot afford rent, or my dad possibly having a medical emergency or being unable to take care of himself alone at home. Moving back home, I could easily help with both covering a portion of the rent, and my classes allow me to be home most of the day if he needs help with anything. I also worry that if all else fails and he doesn't have much time left, I will regret not spending as much time with him as possible. I brought this all up with my fiancé and he fully agreed with me on everything. We understand we would miss each other terribly, and this is not a separation due to lack of love between us. My worry is that without spending most of our waking moments together, things will fall apart. I have heard very few success stories of couples deciding to stop living together. It typically seems to be a means to an end, even if it happens with the best intentions. What if we never make time for each other? What if he realizes he is much happier without me? Nothing is set in stone yet, and I am prepared to stay exactly where I am if I need to, as I am fully intending on spending the rest of my life with this man. Any advice on how to make this work for us? Comment. Are you sure whatever caused you to leave in the first place won't happen again? That seems really risky. I worry that whatever forced you out the first time could happen again, plus you're going from a cluttered room at your fiancé's parents' house to your parents' house where you are immediately getting put to work caring for an ill, blind, and immobile dad. So you'll be studying, but also working to support your parents? Doing homework but also attending to your dad's needs day to day? It just seems crappy any way you split it. Well, like you said, you were probably too young to move in together in the first place, so I think you guys will just transition into a normal young 20s relationship and things will be fine. Next story 3. My girlfriend is lying, how to deal with it? I feel so weird writing this now. We have been together for almost 2 years, no real problems or fights, but she started to play with 2 guys online on day, and since then she started playing so much with them, or that's what I thought. We have some time difference and sometimes she would fall asleep and I thought nothing of it till one day I hopped on that game to fix SMT and I saw her online with that guy while she was supposedly fall asleep. I thought it was one time thing, she was just playing blah blah, then 2 days after same thing happened and she was on. I confronted her, she denied at first then apologized and promised OT was about the game. Since that we had a lot of fights about how much time she spent playing with that guy, some days 6 hours till 2 to 3 a.m. and we argued a lot till she broke up with me. BCS we fight a lot, then we got back together to fix things. LOL, I really wanted to fix things and I was convinced I'm insecure and there's nothing sus about it. She tells me there's nothing going on, they just friends and they text on Snap a lot but they just friends. So since we had a lot of problems I played it okay to take it slow and try to trust her back. She went on family vacation and the moment she got there she became so dry and text takes hours. I thought she just enjoying the trip but I noticed she is online a lot, so I looked on her Snap and as I expected her Snap score going up every day a lot. I know it's bad, I saw I post about it and I couldn't resist. Keep in mind she barely sent me and pics like 4 to 6, not even of her. Tonight her friends streamed while playing but they thought it was private. So I saw her texting while he is talking and not much was bad till he asked her if she is still wearing the same outfit. And some other stupid stuff like, do you sleep with bra, sleep without it? I feel disgusted but I also had my suspension about it before. She texted me saying she loves me and still lie about being with him and she sent him pictures. I didn't show anything to her now. I'm waiting till she get back home and confront her while on call. How can I approach this? What to expect? Is there a good way to handle such a thing?